Seasons, greasins, ghouls, and welcome back to a very festive episode of Toast Talks, a show where Toast talks. My name is Toast, and today we're going to be diving into the Boulay Brothers Dragula Titans, Season 2, Episode 5, Holiday of Horrors. This week I'm serving, a mischievous little April Fools. April Fools, girl. April Fools. So I am very excited to dive into this episode, but before we do, I have a confession to make. It turns out that I was Boo Boo the Fool. And as I was rewatching episode 4 for like the 17 millionth time, I realized that there was a vape shot that I missed in the smoke counter. This is unacceptable. So I've decided to rectify this now. More specifically, the shot of Dahlia in the cauldron, we actually get 2 different shots of her vaping in the cauldron. There is that close-up shot that I showed you in the episode, but then there's also this wide shot of Dahlia. And that is vape shot number, I think it's over on this, right? Because it's like, there's actually also this shot of Dahlia vaping, right? Because it's, no. I think I stand on this side when I'm doing this shot. Yeah. Oh, okay. Trying to figure out where to point, you guys, because last episode I was pointing all over the place. We get this wide shot of Dahlia vaping as well. And that was actually smoke shot number 5, bringing the total shot count up to 7. 4 shots of Dahlia smoking in one episode. That's like gotta be some kind of record. Well, now that that's out of the way, let's get into this episode. So you guys, the rug is officially a recurring side character. She makes another reappearance in this intro, and it's just quickly become my favorite part. I don't know. I'm just obsessed with the talking rug. Like, does he have a name? Like, what is his name? I need to know. What is his lore? Like, tell me everything. If you're not gonna give me the skits, at least give me some sort of narrative investment here. But other than that, the intro was, again, very innocuous. Other than that one time that they like predicted Abora going to the ER, they still haven't really done much other than just recap what's going on, which kinda boring. So the ghouls come back into the lab and they await with bated breath to see who's going to come back. And Eva and Sigourney throw a little shade at each other. It seems that they've formed a little bit of like a friendly rivalry. It seems like maybe Sigourney isn't like as pressed as she was before. Seems like maybe they have a little bit of like a thing going on. I'm interested to see that, what comes of that. So Jay asks how Priscilla left things with Dahlia, and she's talking about that, and she's like, plot twist, she's an alcoholic. Oh my god, they literally did show her vaping like 4 different times in that last episode. So I believe it, girl. Like, I don't know. Abora comes back in first, and I was so happy to see her. I honestly wasn't sure. They left it on such a cliffhanger last time. I was like, not sure if it was gonna be one of those situations where like something actually happened and she had to leave, but regardless, I was very happy to see her back. So she's back and she's sort of just like telling everybody what happened. She reveals that apparently the mystery meat that she ate was kidney, but she didn't say from which animal. Anyways, so Jaharia enters, and I was so happy to see her back, despite last week's look. I thought this was funny too. They were talking about the extermination, and Abora's like, yeah, Dahlia just kept complimenting the food, and it cuts to this shot. Oh, thought that was hilarious. Then Blackberry and Cynthia have this little moment of tension. Cynthia is still so pressed. She is so pressed. And she's still holding that grudge from episode 1. And Blackberry's just sitting over there like Mariah Carey, like, why are you so obsessed with me? She's just unbothered and just sort of taking it as it is. Then we get this fun moment where Jaharia calls out JK because on the runway last week, she was like, oh, let's just say a friend gave me some bad advice on wearing this outfit. And apparently JK was the friend. Gag. Seriously, with friends like that, who needs enemies? So at this point, it appears that nobody else is returning. So it looks like we've got a double elimination this episode, as Zava and Dahlia both don't return. And I just know that every single person in that motherfucking laboratory is like, ding dong, the witch is dead, wicked witch, the wicked witch, ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Ooh, ooh. So I just know that they are all celebrating and turning the fuck up because Dahlia is gone. And I, for one, like, we love a heel, you guys. Like, I just have to say that, like, I love Dahlia. Like, I love a character that can go onto a show of, like, evil drag characters and villains and be the villain amongst villains. Like, that's a level of treachery that, like, I aspire to. Everyone's sort of talking about the competition. They're like, ooh, it's really heating up.
The competition's really starting to heat up
Yeah,
now.
And Priscilla in Confessionals has an absolutely Apollonian prediction. And she's like, has Eva cried yet? Which we'll get into it later, but some stuff happens that maybe, you know, we'll just get into it. April Fools, girl. April Fools. April Fools, girl. April Fools. April Fools, girl. April Fools, girl. Okay, so they get called over for the challenge, and they find out that it is going to be the Holiday of Horrors challenge from season 6. And honey, it's about to be a holla slay. Okay, honey. Yeah. I don't know, for me, even though this is like a relatively newer challenge, like it already kind of feels like a staple part of the Dragula canon. So I'm just super excited to see this one. And just like in season 6, they have to do some sort of act of filth and incorporate that into their floor show. And the winner of this challenge gets like a featured role in the upcoming Boulé holiday special, which is like crazy. Apparently they're doing like a Christmas special. Christmas time is here. So it cuts straight to creatives, meaning there's no fright feet this week, which I was a little confused about because I was sort of under the impression that on Titans, they do fright feats like every week. I wonder if they just like had a boring fright feat and they just cut it. I don't know. But I just thought that was interesting. But as always, I'm very happy to see the creatives. So we see folks working on their looks, and I have to say, I love when we get to see the sketches of their looks. Like, girl, this is art. This is art. Happiness and fappiness is all up in your rear. So Priscilla's doing a Father's Day look, and you know, she kind of opens up a little bit about her maybe like strained relationship with her father, which I think is something that unfortunately a lot of us can relate to, especially those of us that operate outside of the norm. So, I mean, I thought it was good to see her open up about that, and although it's a painful truth, you know, I'm happy to see her working through it in her art. We get a little bit more drama in this section too. Like, as Jay is explaining his look, he is sort of subtly throwing shots at Sigourney and Eva. Well, not even subtly, he does call them out by name. But he's like, yeah, some of these schools, you know, they can't really get down and dirty, and they're like very 5, 6, 7, 8. And then Sigourney's like, yeah, well, I think the 5, 6, 7, 8 is what gets us so far in the competition, hon. So, you know, tension is definitely brewing between the two of them. And also during this squabble, we get our 8th addition to the smoke counter with this lovely shot of Priscilla vaping. And, you know, it looked to be the same red vape that Dahlia had. I'm like, maybe she gave it to Priscilla as a little parting gift. Who knows? Yeah, creatives kind of went crazy today because then Jay calls Jaharia over into, like, the side room and basically just asks Jaharia to form an alliance with him. To which Jaharia, like, agrees. And then they pinky promise on it. Which, guys, not the fucking pinky promise again. Haven't we already been through this? But they pinky promise on it, and they literally show, like, a fucking flashback shot to the fucking pinky promise trauma from episode 1. So I thought that was fucking incredible. And then immediately after making that pinky promise, Jaharia immediately goes and tells Sigourney and Eva. Like, oh my god, Jaharia's playing such a messy game this time around, and I'm like... It's so good. Like, just immediately ratting Jay out. You guys, I fucking love this show. I can't. Can you eat mosquitoes? It's the sweetest in the middle. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, pink is the flavor. Ooh, solve the riddle. So it's like the next day or whenever, I don't know, and it cuts to them doing their makeup. And Cynthia and Blackberry then have like this really heated argument. Cynthia is still so goddamn pressed about all the shit from earlier, and she just really will not let it go. And so she brings it up to Blackberry to try to like clear the air, and Blackberry's like, no. And so Cynthia just loses it yet again. Cynthia's being really petty about it, and Blackberry is just being a baddie and shutting it down. And there's this one moment where, you know, Cynthia storms out, and Blackberry's like, yeah, she's being a disrespectful bitch. And then Cynthia storms back in, and she's like, oh, I'm being a disrespectful bitch, huh? Yeah, just so messy, so petty. And the two of them are just, it's really heating up for no goddamn reason. And so Cynthia's, you know, doing her makeup over in the other room or whatever. She storms out. And Jaharia goes over there and she's like, girl, you gotta listen to her. Like, she kind of calls her in a little bit. And she's like, girl, you are not listening to Blackberry, like, at all. Like, I really liked that moment from her. Like, I thought it was really nice to see Jaharia calling her in as a friend and just being like, girl, no, like, you kind of just were crazy out there. Like, you gotta reel it in, sister. So it's challenge time, and we get to the runway. The Boulets come out on the runway in these like witch outfits. It's like these black sequin dresses and hats. They look absolutely freaking adorable. And I love the little touch of the orange lining on the dress and on the hat. Just super cute. I thought they looked incredible. So the guest judges this week are Jennifer Tilly and Dawn Mancini. And now I'll be honest, when I first heard that they were gonna be the guest judges, I thought for sure that we were gonna be getting some kind of doll challenge or like maybe like a reprise of the Killer Dolls challenge, just because they're both like from Chucky, or they both like are of Chucky fame. But yeah, nonetheless, I am excited to see them. And I felt like they gave good critiques overall, yeah. Now y'all, these looks were fucking insane, and I cannot wait to dive in. So let's get into it. Okay, so first up on the runway is Eva Destruction, and she's giving us like a Valentine's Day harpy kind of situation. I feel like overall, I really love this look. I love like all the little details, like the little chains, and like, I love the wings and the little ringlets in her hair. Like, there's a lot to love about the look. I just don't know that it 100% reads like Holiday of Horrors. Like, the Boulets give her a critique basically being like, yeah, it was a little Dungeons and Dragons. And yeah, it kind of is. Like, she basically just did a Harpy Ranger and that's it. But yeah, I really liked this look from her, and honestly, it was probably my favorite of the two Valentine's Day looks. So next up is Sigourney Beaver, giving us the Statue of Liberty if she was the girl from The Exorcist. I absolutely adored this look. Just from the material choices to like the gross shit coming out of her mouth to like her fucking herself with the spike, you guys. That shit was crazy. And yeah, I really don't think we've seen anything quite like that before. So I don't know, I loved it. I thought she did great. And like, I'm so proud of her, guys. Like, I feel like she finally nailed a filth challenge, which Sigourney has, you know, famously not been very good at. So I don't know, I thought she nailed it. I thought she did great this week. So next up is Priscilla Chambers, or should I say Father Chambers. I loved her concept and her messaging. Her performance told the story. It was very poignant, and I was definitely enthralled with like the story part of it. It was very captivating. And I think important as fuck. You know, she was doing this like masculine king character, which I thought was a really, really cool choice. But ultimately, I think like the stoic nature of her number ultimately like ended up working against her. Just a shame that the look was a little small compared to what everybody else was bringing. Like, if everybody else didn't bring such high caliber looks, I think she might have been able to skate by with a really good concept and a really good message. But the look just kind of needed to be a little more up there for me. But Priscilla, love you, girly pop. So Cynthia Doll is up next, and she's giving us this like Valentine's Day heart monster. Very like, he ate my heart, he ate my heart. I love the details of this look. I love like all of the little stitches, you know, as if she's gotten like her heart broken a million times. I love the teeth. Yeah, I mean, if I had a critique, I'd say that it could have been more filthy. Like, it was giving me a little bit more, like, cutesy, like, cool kind of vibe. But, I don't know, it wasn't super filthy. Could have been more filthy. But overall, I think she looks fierce. So Blackberry quite literally rolls out next, giving us a Thanksgiving feast from hell. I thought this look was, like, so good from, like, the hips up. I mean, like, the turkey prosthetic was, like, insane. Like, she literally came out with, like, a whole ass fucking table, you guys. Like, she was giving us, like, the whole goddamn situation. I just thought she looked great. And, you know, at one point during her performance, like, her table does break. But, like, when I was watching it the first time, I was like, oh, I thought it was, like, a part of the performance, you know? Like, it was, like, I kind of thought it was intentional, you know? I was like, oh, yeah, it's, like, a metaphor about, like, the gluttony of Thanksgiving and how it's just all too much to hold, you know? There's just too much weight at the table, and it's just too much to bear. But then, you know, you watch it a second time and she literally just has no outfit underneath it and there's just pantyhose. And then you're like, oh, wait, no, actually she did kind of fuck that one up. And for me, I think the filthiest part of this look was that the food was touching. Ew. So JK comes out next looking like a damn fool. Bitch almost done stole my look. I think that Jay looks so fucking great here. I love like the different colors and patterns and stuff going on. The silhouette is really cool. Yeah, and she brings out like a little cake too that's got like just like slime and blood and shit in it. And I love like all the gross stuff coming out of the face in the back. Like just the whole thing was really cute and it was very JK, like in his world. I just thought the whole thing was cool. So next up is Disasterina, and she is giving us a 5-tittied Krampus, something which I didn't know that I needed in my life, but now that it's here, I'm happy to have. I love this look. I love all the little hairs sticking out under the tights. Obviously, I love the 5 titties because, you know, 2 is obviously not enough, and 3 is obviously not enough, and 4 is, oh, well, now we just gotta go to 5, you know what I mean? Oh my god, I love her little cage of heads that she's like wearing like a duffel bag. I think she maybe struggled a little bit with the filth part of the challenge. And, you know, I think, yeah, the interpretation is maybe a little literal. I don't know, I think of the many more literal interpretations that we saw, I thought that this fit within Disasterina's world. So, I don't know. For me, I just think it lacked a little bit in the filth department. But I thought she looked really cool, and I liked this look a lot. So guys, next up is Abora, or should I say, Arbora. You guys, this is fucking insane. Like, what the actual fuck is going on here on this day? This bitch did not actually come out here in this goddamn tree with this goddamn skin suit and this goddamn chainsaw. It's so disrespectful, honestly. Like, now everybody else is going to have to live up to this. Like, what the fuck, Abora? It's just crazy. It's so good. There's so many good things about it. Just like the texture of her face makeup, the fucking way that it like all blends in with the tree and like the texture on the tree. It's just so, you guys, like, it's just so good. She had like all these little body parts and stuff hanging off the tree, you know? She had these little testicle earrings, which I think were the same testicle earrings that Priscilla was wearing earlier this week in the lab. Maybe these girls are just sharing. Yeah, I don't know, guys. This was just next level. Like, this was fucking crazy, and I loved this from Abora. So last out is Jaharia giving us a very Merry Christmas elf. I think she looks great. I think the makeup is really cool. The silhouette of the pants is really interesting. I love the little things that she made for her shoes to make them look like feet. I thought that was a cute touch. And similar to Disasterina, I feel like it's a little on the nose, but I think that she looks creepy. She looks like a creepy little elf, and I love it. No. You guys, no! We lost a nail. Nail down, you guys. Nail down. Rup-up-up-bum. 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 Nail down. Pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger. Boom. And end his little life so soon. I just shot a man down in Central Station. Girl, I can't wait to like eat some ramen after this. So it shows them doing their act of filth, which for most of the ghouls is basically just some combination of them eating something gross, having dismembered body parts, or being promiscuous. I think in terms of the filth act, Sigourney and Priscilla's are probably my fave. I love sex as filth. I feel like that's my thing. I don't know, like, I think the eating something for filth, for me, is a little overplayed. And I'm like, show us something else. Like, is that really the grossest thing that you can think of? Like, girl, there's so much taboo shit in the world of sex that I feel like fits into the realm of filth. So I'm just like, I don't know, for me, it's like, that's where I want to see the ghouls go more. Oh my God, you guys, I love the segments where the boulets are just talking to each other. They really do love each other, but they also just hate each other so much. They're both just rotted in just the right way for each other. It's great. You know, so then they all come out for judging. Eva, Blackberry, and Jaharia are all announced safe. They kind of had things to say that were bad about Eva and Blackberry, which they kind of have been doing that. They'll like definitely give some critiques about them when it's just the two of them talking, but then they'll announce those people safe. I've noticed that they've been doing that. JK, Sigourney Beaver, and Abora are the tops of this week, and Disasterina, Cynthia Dahl, and Priscilla are the bottoms. And so Abora wins the challenge this week. Like, duh. Like, are you kidding me, guys? Like, I feel like there's never been a more clear winner for a challenge. I'm like, yeah, she just kind of ate. And then there's this moment right after they announce Abora's win. Swan's like, oh, you can go backstage, and all the tops go back. And then Disasterino tries to walk out with them. And they have to be like, no, Disasterino, not you. You have to come back. Like, the bitch really was just like, oh, bye. That's just so funny, guys. It was just really silly, and I love that. So we get to the cauldron this week, and I don't know, guys. I felt like it was good, but I just feel like after the last couple of weeks of just, like, insane cauldrons, this felt like a little bit kumbaya, you know? There was definitely still some tensions, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't as, delicioso. Yeah, you know, the bottom three are all pleading their cases. Disasterina makes out with Blackberry, which I thought was wild and just out of nowhere. But I loved that for her. And Eva and Jay have this kind of back and forth where they're like both just talking about the game and the competition. Eva's like, oh, well, how do you actually expect to take me out? She's like, what do you do successfully? Quickly. And so they kind of talk about that for a little bit. And that's kind of that. Like, I don't know. Like, there was some good jabs back and forth, but just nothing compared to when Dahlia and Jade were here. I miss them. So then back on the main stage, Cynthia is announced safe, meaning that Disasterina and Priscilla Chambers are going up to the ghostly gallows. They're going up there. This is like Disasterina's third time in the bottom. So, I don't know. I kind of assumed that she was a goner for sure. And Swan calls Disasterina's name, and she takes the plunge. And then she calls Priscilla's name, and she also takes the plunge. Gag, you guys. Like, what? 2 double eliminations in a row is wild. I will admit they got me with that one. Apparently they got everyone else too, because when they send Priscilla down, you know, everyone's gutted. Abora and Eva both like break down crying. And, you know, there's that Apollonian prediction from Priscilla coming true, which is crazy because her death was literally the impetus for that moment. Like, That was truly literary, guys. Like, that's crazy. And then they announced the next challenge will be a return to the ghost town, which they don't usually like announce what the challenge is going to be for the next episode. So I thought that was a really nice touch. And I am very, very much looking forward to that. Then we get to the Hellbound Showdown for this week, and I was wondering how this was gonna work with like the double elimination, but it turns out it doesn't even matter because we get this B-roll shot and like it tells us that Zava's been disqualified because she like broke some production rules, and I'm just like, you guys, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck did she do that was so bad that she got kicked out? Like, oh, Jesus Christ. So I guess it doesn't even really matter because there's only 2 of them anyway. Yeah, I don't know. It's just always weird for them to be like, yeah, we're like a punk competition. Like, yeah, we're like punk. And then they like kick someone out for violating rules. Like, I get it. Like, it's like a television show. It's like a production. Like, they need to have things run smoothly. But it also is just funny to be like, yeah, we're punk. But, like, we're also gonna kick someone out because they didn't follow the rules. I just want to know what she did. Like, I imagine it was something NDA related. Like, she broke her NDA. Maybe they finally caught on about the ketamine. I don't know. What did she do? So I guess it's just Jade and Dahlia for this one. So Dahlia is giving us Jesus. It's a little bit literal, but, you know, she looks cunt. And Jade is, I think, giving us Earth Day. I couldn't really tell on first glance, but she brought her own bear with her. I thought that was fierce. And I think the performance is where Jade edged out Dahlia. You know, she was eating these worms and she was like really playing around with some of them. I was like, oof, girl, like get into it. She was like sucking one of them off. I was like, okay, girl, go off. Suck that little wormy. And Dahlia was like just in the background, like hammering some stuffed animals to a cross, which is cute, but it's not sucking off a worm. So with that, Dahlia kicks the bucket and Jade goes on yet again. You guys, my main character arc for Jade continues. Ah! Queen shit, honestly. And with that, we have come to the conclusion of another fierce, fabulous, and festive episode of Toast Talks, the show where Toast talks. I've been your host, Toast, and, you know, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you want to let me know what you thought, leave a little comment down below. I'd love to read it. And, you know, maybe subscribe so that you don't miss any of this sexy clown and her shenanigans. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some pranks to go pull, so sayonara, suckers, and stay toasty.